The idea for this workshop is based on my artwork that I created some time ago when reflecting on mental health. The title of the artwork is Mental Health Analogy, and I compare mental health to a tree. Mental health is invisible. It exists within us. Most of it is underneath its visible fruits, like a tree. Its appearance depends on its roots, the soil it is grounded in, the nutrients it is getting, and the external factors of weather, climate, mercy of its cohabitants. The same with mental health. It needs to be fed properly and it will grow and look beautiful when all the factors play its part. It is hard to maintain it in a good shape. There are factors beyond our control, but trees are strong and resilient. And although there are seasons when it changes the outlook, there is still beauty in each appearance. Sometimes the beauty visible to others is at the high cost of holding on, withstanding storms, healing from wounds inflicted on it by circumstances, and sometimes cruelty of those circumstances knocks down some leaves and even branches.
I strongly believe that mental health is like a tree because we keep a lot inside us and we don't talk about it unless we have a trusted person we can talk about it. So people see our appearance, our reactions, our behaviors to certain situations, and they often don't know that it's driven by very inner factors that are beyond our control very often. So today's session is called My Mental Health Tree, and we will try to create our own mental health tree with some resources, whatever you have available. And we will reflect on the aspect of our mental health that is positive, that help us to withstand those storms, that keep us rooted in the ground and let us flourish. Because it touches mental health topics and you will be reflecting on your own experiences, we don't know, what mental state you are at the moment or what experiences you might have in your life. Therefore, if at any point you feel unsure or unsettled about this activity, feel free to leave the room and come back later, or just let it run without your attendance if you feel distressed. This session will be recorded, so you will be able to come back to it if you need to leave at any point. But should you feel distressed, there are numbers you can reach out for help, and Alexandra is helping me by putting those numbers in a chat, so feel free to refer to them should you need any help. As we are recording the session, if you don't want to be recorded, you can keep yourself off camera as long you see me, and later in particular that screen which I'm tapping now, you will be fine. Feel free to ask questions. I may not see a chat myself, but Alexandra will always let me know that there is a question, or if I need to go over something again, because I speak fast, I am aware of that. What else? We do have mental health first aider with us. Eleanor is here. Should anybody need a quick chat or breakout room in any distress, that's possible, and Eleanor will be able to guide you to those helpful organizations that could help in immediate need. We can, of course, talk about our creations towards the end. I'm not sure if you will be all able to finish the outcome, but we can share as much as you do. And it could be great. It could be really fantastic if at any point you could send us a photograph of your outcome, because I'm hoping that at some point we could do a little exhibition or a poster with our creations. So Alexandra will pop in the chat the email to which you could send the photograph. Just please remember that the photograph needs to be good quality for it to be used, so it must be a minimum 300 dpi. So when you send from your devices, make sure that you attach an actual size of your JPEG, not the small or medium or large, okay? Because that way it gives a good resolution. And sorry, this is my artist hat talking. So mental health 3. Yes, the email is already there. If we could spotlight the desk, well, whatever, it's not a desk, but yeah, so everyone can see properly. So you need a background. So it could be what do we call it? Cardboard from a sketchbook, for example. It's a good kind of base to work on because it is not as flexible as normal paper. Any shape and size, it's okay. And we will start from doing some background. So we will do a kind of 2/4 of the cardboard in light blue to symbolize the sky, and 1/3 or 1/4, depending how your maths is, will be in green to symbolize the grass. Everybody ready to start? So I am a messy artist, so I never really mix paint on the palette because I always have something on the palette that I was working on and I didn't manage to clean up. So I always just squeeze. What has happened?
Yeah, George is yeah, you went dark. Okay, you're back.
Okay, yeah, it's probably the cable. Should be okay now, yeah. So I always squeeze a little bit of blue, which is apparently being abused recently. Don't need a lot of blue if it's dark blue because we will mix it with white. And you could use your hand, you could use a bit of tissue, whatever you have available. I will use a paintbrush and just, you know, paint it in the direction which is horizontal because it gives you nice strokes, imitating the sky. Okay, make sure that all the brown is covered. I will add a bit of white here to make sure that coverage is here good. And you have nice sky. And we will do a bit of green at the bottom, not too much because we don't want the grass to overshadow the sky. So a little bit, and you could do the stroke in the horizontal direction. And then try to flick it upwards. And this gives you nice imitation of grass. I will, yeah. Any questions so far? Take a bit of time. I am always kind of Speedy Gonzales because I always have very limited time to play with my paint. So I do create quickly, but doesn't mean that you need to be a trosh. So I will give you 30 seconds while I deal with somebody who just chewed something. Not you. Do let me know, Alexandra, if there are any questions or if there is a need that I
Sure.
You forgot about it, didn't you? Whenever you're ready to move to the next stage, just you could use the reactions and show me the thumb up, and then I will tell you the next step. Don't worry if it doesn't dry. I often work with wet base, and because we will be sticking some objects on it, it doesn't really matter. We can still do that when the paint is still wet. For those who are waiting, they could add a bit of clouds in the background. So I use a bit of kitchen towel, put a bit of white there, and just tap here and there, bit smudge here and there, and it gives you the impression like some clouds are there. Keep forgetting where the camera is, and sometimes try to show to the different one. For those who are waiting, you can start creating the trunk. So this is what I do. I use a cardboard tube from kitchen towels, and I find the corner which I can pull to separate it into flat piece of cardboard. Why I use those cardboards? Because they are not as hard as any other cardboard, and they easily can be torn apart. So try to create a flat piece of cardboard from it. Or if you don't have a cardboard, just use a piece of paper and try to try to use your hands to you know, create a trunk-looking rectangular shape. Why I don't use scissors? Because I would like you to take a moment when getting this trunk shaped to think about it, that this is what shaped you, that you are taking a bit of work there with your fingers, because this is how life shaped you, how experiences shaped you. So I will be not using scissors, I will be just making some branches from the top of that cardboard, and think about that this is what perhaps, you know, gets you shaped into the tree you are. Whatever you went through, good, bad, it perhaps gave you a lot to think about and a lot of, you know, emotions, but the trunk had to grow for some time and had to go through certain experiences to become strong and thick and a bit rough in touch, perhaps, but this is what made you. So this is what I'm doing. As you see, I'm trying to create few strips at the top of the cardboard to imitate branches. Whatever excess is left, I'm leaving it because I can then extend my branches. So do not get rid of those little pieces that get separated. There's something therapeutic in using your hands to shape a piece of paper or cardboard, you know. Is this tearing kind of sensation that could provide you, well, it provides me with some relief. Okay, and don't worry that they go in one direction, although we know that branches in trees do not go one direction, because we can put them in the direction we want. So, and how to do it? You can bend some. So twist them. Could actually twist that one as well. And this will be the top of the tree. And now at the bottom, I would like you to create similar things, imitating roots. So again, I will turn it around because it's more comfortable for me to deal in that direction. That it can be messy. You don't need to really, you know, strive for perfection there. On the contrary, trees, branches, roots are not perfect. They are not straight lines. They are twisted. They knot. They interlink. They go in different directions. So try to think about it, how certain aspects and factors in your life are exactly similar. Okay, so there are few sticking out bits to imitate roots. So when you're done with it, try to position your tree roughly in the middle or on the side. It's really up to you. I prefer it in the middle because then the branches can be and roots can be spread nicely. And now you may need a bit of glue to stick that cardboard to to the base. Okay. Mine is unblocking. So if you did it from the kitchen wall and it is bended, and I would then perhaps go to the other side because it will be easier to force it down. So I will put glue on that side if it comes out. I'm using a wood glue, but only because I couldn't find PVA. So, and this will work exactly the same. So I don't know if wood glue it has some PVA in it, or so spread some. So spread the glue only in the part when the trunk is like full, and you will do the branches separately because you want to position them. I don't know why this one is not coming out as I wish for it. Oh yeah, that's much better. So whenever you're ready, you stick your trunk on the paper. May need to give it a bit of time to stick, so press. Depending on the glue you have, some glues are pretty quick hold. Some require a bit of press and hold approach. Okay, how are we doing? Alexandra, could you check the chat if any questions or any help needed?
So far, no.
Okay. So when you stick the trunk, you can then play with your branches and position them in a similar way they would probably be positioned in nature. So they're not going straight ahead into the sky. They will be going on the sides, right, and spreading. And if you are happy with it, then use some glue to hold it together to the base. If a bit of glue comes out, don't worry about it. We will cover it up with some paint later anyway, and some glue becomes transparent after it dries anyway, so don't overstress. Some excess bits, if you have left from shaping your trunk, you can use to give your branches extension. Okay, that one is pretty nice, going straight. So you can twist this cardboard and the branches to go in different directions according to your wish and to give it a shape that you desire or that it resemble trees in nature. And just add a bit of glue here and there to keep them in a position you want. I particularly like when the excess of the branches are left loose and just, you know, play with the whatever air comes to it. But if you prefer them firmly stuck to the base, that's fine as well. Whatever works for you and whatever makes you feel the ownership of the tree. Okay. Of course, you can use paintbrush to spread the glue. I particularly like working with my fingers, but it doesn't stop you from using whatever you wish. And sometimes I use just a piece of paper to spread it nicely. Okay, and perhaps some here. Or maybe do one more. Yeah. Up here. Shush. Okay, and if you are happy with the branches, you can then move to the roots. And the same way as branches, roots don't go only as a straight line into the soil, right? They twist, they bend, they interlink. So make sure that you position them the way that pleases you. So again, twist and apply a bit of glue. To stick it to the base. Okay. You can also take some out and add it where you think it needs a bit of more roots. Just glue them in a position you want. May hold for a second for it to get stuck, like mine. And if you were using hands like I have been, I need to wash my hands now not to drag it out of the paper. Okay. So when the trunk is stuck to the base and doesn't fall off, we can engage with painting the trunk to give it a bit of, well, natural look, right? So you may need some paints. What did I do with my white paint? Well, I have brown. Like I said, I always just squeeze it out on the paper and mix it with a bit of white. And this is what I would like for you to do. You can use the paintbrush, it's fine. But if you don't have any hesitations of using your fingers, do use your fingers to decorate your trunk. Why? Because I would like you to think about the grooves and the texture the tree has, that in places it is a bit rough, in some smooth, in some it has dents. So I would like you to put your fingers in the paint and dab and give it a kind of touchy-feely approach, almost like you are pampering that trunk for all the hardship it experienced, but also for all the strengths that it has. It is holding all the tree, and let it function and flourish in different seasons. Can put some paint on the branches and roots as well. This is the paint talking, not me. Okay. So touch those roots, pamper it a bit with your touch, maybe stroke, whatever really comes to your mind. And also your fingerprints will leave some nice kind of pattern that will give it this kind of unique touch and unique look, because these are your fingertips. And we know that everyone has very unique set of those lines. You can give it different shades. So you can take a bit more brown to give it here and there a darker shade. And when you are happy how it looks, you may need to wash your hands or use a wet wipe for the next stage. And again, we don't need to worry about it drying because we will be sticking some other objects on, so it doesn't really matter. But if you look very closely, when you gave it a pat with your fingertip, it has a lovely texture. And yeah, well, I love textures, so I'm pretty addicted to them. But it gives you a kind of your signature, doesn't it? Because it's your fingertip. Do let me know when you're ready to move on to the next stage. The beauty of it is that even if we finish, when we finish the session today, you can still add to it later. So you could reflect on aspects that I will be guiding you through as a next step. And today, maybe at this point, nothing will come to your mind, but you can always add to it, because you need to remember that you know, branches do break, but also a new growth appears each time. So you can treat it as such that you know, the new leaves appear in spring, one after the other. Roots get longer and deeper into the soil. So perceiving it as a growing organism will allow you to add to it at any point later on after this session as well. So the next stage, are we ready for next stage, or should we? Yeah, okay. So the next stage, I would like you first to focus on this, what is invisible to others, what is deeply in the ground, so the tree's roots. And I would like you to think about it from the perspective of positive aspects of your mental health that keep you deeply rooted, that make you survive those storms, that keep you here on this planet alive, because without them you wouldn't be able to fight those battles. So it can be anything. It could be something that is a characteristic of you. Like for me, it would be that art is my medicine. So art helps me survive storms and help me to deal with my mental health. So this will be one of my roots. The love of my children, my partner, and love for them is another root that, you know, keeps me in the ground and do not let me really consider going anywhere and anyway. But you may have some personal aspects. It could be your ability to, I don't know, to help others, belonging to certain communities. So I would like you to take a moment and list at least 3 roots that keep you deeply rooted in the ground, in the soil, and help you to make sure that your mental health is looked after and that you can stay with your loved ones and look after yourself. And then take a pen or Sharpie and write it on those roots. So I will now find a Sharpie and write mine. Why I'm asking you of 3, minimum 3, you may have more roots, but this is exactly what I want you to do. Maybe after the session, you could think about some more, but don't overload you at this point. Just find the core aspects that keep you healthy or help you to fight ill mental health. Just 3 of those for now. So I'm looking for, oh, that one doesn't write. That one is pretty good. So I'm putting mine. You don't need to share that with me, or you can share it later. I am in a meeting, so please do look after her. This was to my son. So I'm putting art, because art is a huge part of my life. That keeps me sane, that gives me purpose, that provides me with medicine, allowing to fight with ill mental health. Another one, I will put love of my children and partner. You could just put one word, because you can read that in full sentence to yourself. I will put a bit more love. Love to and from children. Bit of normal pen. If the paint is still wet, you may find that normal pen may work better. And when writing them, write them mindfully. Really spell each word in your mind and take time to make those letters visible, to appreciate those roots and the factors that help you stay rooted and alive, even in moments of crisis. My third one today would be memories of my childhood, because I had a great childhood and wonderful parents. And I think that childhood really shaped me and provided certain aspects of my personality that allow me to be strong. So I will put my childhood, memories of childhood. And again, go over it, mean every letter, focus on that particular root. And that root, as that root made you a person that you are now and gives you strength and resilience, maybe provided you with some tools and techniques that allow you to deal with crises in mental health. Okay, if you find any more, the better. And really, you can always add the root later on. You can just get a piece of paper and stick it wherever, or extend existing ones. They could grow very long, actually, over time. But be conscious of those roots, of those aspects of your life that make you be a strong tree and withstand storms. And I will give you a minute to finish off at least 3 roots, and then we will move to the branches. Let me know when you're ready to move on. In the prep you received, there are some affirmations, like if you lack ideas of what you could mention, or maybe you are not mentally, able at the moment to figure those out. There are some ideas with those, with the preparation that you received. So you could dive into there if you wish, or you can also, like I did now, create my own. So the roots keep us in the ground, make sure that we are stable. And only if those roots have proper soil and environment, they will grow. And the tree will grow, and the branches will grow and blossom and cover with leaves. So if you have any milk bottles, do use them to symbolize the fruits that your tree gave birth to, and stick like 3 or 4 somewhere where you think that looks good. And I will tell you what to do next as soon as we put those. If you don't have them, you could maybe cut a circle out of the cardboard, or paint a circular shape to imitate a fruit. Okay, I put 4, but depending also on the size of the outcome you're working with, you could have more and you could add to it later on. So don't panic if you don't feel that you have enough. And then put it aside for a moment, because we will need now to write some affirmations for the leaves. So take a piece of paper, if you have a colored one, like I have orange and green. And I would like you first to draw some shapes imitating leaves, but those kind of long leaves. So we'll use Sharpie so it will be better visible. So something like that. Try to, again, maybe have 4, but you can add to it anytime after the session. So I will do 2 orange.
Dorota?
Yes?
Pamela Marie says she did not receive a pack. I think you mean the
prep.
kit. Yeah. On the email, you must have sent the second email before the event. That's what she said.
No, the prep should come with the ticket purchased. So the confirmation of the ticket should include a PDF document. But if it hasn't been received, then perhaps something gone wrong at the registration. Does anybody else had the problem that prep didn't arrive? I think, yeah, so it should be with your ticket. So when you have that shapes drawn, they don't need to be perfect. They can be very eggy shape looking, whatever you came up with, it's fine, because leaves are not perfect, okay? They get wounded by cohibitants, they get knocked, but all possible factors. So don't worry. You can cut them out if you feel like, but again, I love the sound and the aspect of taking the paper into my fingers and shaping it. So feel free to do the same. So 2 of mine and green ones as well. And when you have them shaped, take a moment to think about some aspects of your personality, character, you as a person, that it's really there. And you are like that, but you sometimes forget that you are strong and resilient, for example. And that phrases, that affirmations that you need to be reminded about. And when the wind blows and moves those leaves, they will whisper to you. So something that you forget, or your inner critic would try to argue with you, but actually you are strong, or maybe you do care of others, or maybe you're helpful, or maybe healing is possible for you, and sometimes you forget about it. Or maybe you are more than your diagnosis and your ill mental health, and you need to be reminded about that. So take a moment and think about at least 4 aspects that you need to be reminded about. They are actually true, but you keep forgetting about them, and the leaves whispering in the wind could be those reminders. So let's spend a few minutes on putting those. So you, of course, can, think about it in silence. I will try to think about it aloud, so you have some guidance. So I very often forget, but I know that I am worthy to be happy and to be loved. So this will be one of my affirmations that I want to be reminded about. So I will write, I am worthy to be happy and to be loved. And again, go over it. Think about each letter mindfully, embed it in your head that you are worthy, or whatever affirmation you came up with, and you put on your paper. So I will go over, enhance each letter, put my mind into it. You could whisper it to yourself or read it aloud as you go, slowly, for your mind to absorb it and to start believing it. Okay, so one is ready. Now another affirmation. Well, I sometimes forget that I'm allowed to experience some wobbles and struggle with my mental health. And I think that I will put that because very often I feel a failure when my mental health is giving me some challenges and certain aspects of my life suffer because of it, because I can't deal with my reality. But actually, we are all allowed to have those moments. And it's not a shame and it's not our fault and we shouldn't feel guilty. So I'm going to write it to remind myself that I'm allowed to have some struggles. Maybe experience is better word than have. I am allowed to experience. Mental health struggles. Probably I made some spelling mistake, but doesn't matter. So now I'll go over to enhance each letter and to make it clear to myself, to my mind, that it's okay not to be okay sometimes, that I am allowed to have moments of crisis. I'm just a human being. And sometimes I do wobble, and it's okay. Is struggle double G? Yeah, okay. English is my second language, like you probably noticed long ago from the first time I opened my mouth. And sometimes I do make some funny mistakes, which I will see in somebody else's writing, but not my own, which is bizarre. Okay, now the third affirmation. I think I will go for, because, you know, I became artist not long ago, actually in 2019, after a massive mental health breakdown. I was offered some art relief sessions and I started to produce every day since then, and I became an artist, and now I call myself artist. But I sometimes have those doubts that it has purpose, that it should be born, you know, that it matters. So for me, the reminder and the affirmation I will put in my third leaf will be: my art matters. But you, of course, go for something that applies to you, and then go over each letter.
Yes.
Alice, could you check if there are any questions?
Yeah. So I just got again another one from Pamela Marie, and she just double checked the email. She didn't get the. She's asked if we can email her later with them.
Of course, I will
So-
email everyone the prep again, just in case, so you could store it somewhere. This activity has been devised by me, so please credit me whenever you share it with others.
Yeah. And just to say, James shared a funny statement. He was like, English is my first language and I still make funny mistakes.
Oh, thank you. That makes me feel better. My biggest problem with language is the, n. And why do you count them as words in your academic writing? It doesn't mean anything. I always argued at the college in academic writing when my work was returned with the and missing, and then I was arguing, but come on, you added it. I didn't need it in my writing. It doesn't mean anything. So now I'm exceeding the word count. So what should I do? Okay, so my third affirmation done, and now we'll go for just one more. But
I just wanted to add, Dorota, sorry, just want to say that Ridima has left now, but she will send the tree later.
Oh, that's
Thank
okay.
you for the
Yeah, we
save.
are heading towards the end of the thing, don't we? What's the time now? Yeah.
10
So
to.
we are not far away from finishing. So perhaps I will leave those 3 affirmations. The 4th one I could do after the event just to speed things up. And again, remember that this is something to add to. So when you approach in your life the moment when you need to be reminded about something of your personality, of your character, or whatever strength you have, that you can add it. So the leaves could remind you when they whisper. And you can put them somewhere on the branches, but for some reasons, I love putting them in those bottle lids. But you can stick them wherever you want on the tree. If I find my glue over here. Perhaps the aspect that I like about them in those bottle lids, that they stick out, and like I said, I'm a bit addicted to textures. And this gives me a bit of 3D experience. Okay. So I put them in those bottle lids and they stick out like that. And when you have more of them, you can make sure that your leaf is filled up with the leaves and in full bloom. And what I do with the plastic leaves like that, I stick them, but before I stick them, I put on them some some emotions or states of mind, I would say, that would be probably better, that I very often lack. So I would go for calmness, relaxation, stillness. I can't keep still. So I would like you to find some states of minds that relate to you that you may be lacking, but you need in your life, and put on those plastic that you could cut from those folders, cut similar shape leaves, and stick them to your tree as well. And when the wind moves them, they will remind you about staying calm, relaxed, and still. In my case, your case might be something different, so feel free to put whatever applies to you. So I will put here calm, and again think about this word, this state of mind. And still. I had some cut earlier. Relax. I really need some relaxation. I am constantly on the go and find it difficult to relax. The only moment really I relax is when I paint. Okay, and you will have them. And the same with those. Anytime you find yourself that you are lacking some quality in your life and you would like to be reminded about it by your tree, put it on this plastic leaf and put it in between the branches. Oh, doesn't want to come out. And for them to stick a bit out, I always pinch them and bend them. So then they are not flat. Whatever makes you happy. Like I said, most of the glues will go transparent after they are dry, so do not worry that they may be showing through your plastic leaves. I was really hoping that we'll be able to have this workshop face to face, and I was really dreaming that we could create one huge tree with our different qualities and factors that keep us, afloat. But perhaps next year we could have a huge project and create a huge tree somewhere, maybe at Mind quarters or somewhere.
That would be very nice.
Yeah, I think it would be very precious to anybody who could participate.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so your tree is a work in progress, really, if you wish to. It could be an end product after today. It's up to you what you do next. I find myself going back and adding things as the need may present, because our mental health is a work in progress, isn't it? So I hope you enjoyed it, and if anybody would like to share the outcome, we are free to see and listen. If not now, maybe you could send us an image. So I will share the floor to anybody who would like to show and tell. Yeah, so Alexandra just put the email to which to send your photograph if you would like to share with us. please do let us know what you think about the activity, how it made you feel, or how your outcome looks like. So maybe I will show it to that camera. Mine is looking like that, but I will probably work on it still, so add some qualities into my branches, but because at this point it feels a bit naked and I need it in full summer mode.
I think it was a lovely exercise. Really good, nice session.
Oh,
I feel
thank
quite
you.
calm.
Yeah. There is another one. If you could read it, Alexandra, because it disappeared from my...
Yes, sorry. From James. Thank you very much. It was very relaxing and a great idea to express ourselves in a positive way. Very therapeutic. Oh, thank you, James.
Thank you so much. Glad that you could participate and received it as such. Yes, Sophia needs to shoot, but she said it was very relaxing. Great. Oh, thank you, Persephone.
Nice to have you in the house.
Yeah. Yeah. When the images arrive, I really appreciate it, Pamela said. I will create some kind of visual poster with those, and we will share with all the attendees. And after this session, like I promised, I will send you all the prep again, just in case you missed it or you would like to store it.
Yeah.
I do promote imperfections because I feel imperfect. And I think that creativity, has this kind of spark when it's a bit imperfect. Because, if you need to draw a straight line, you will take a ruler, right? And would you like to follow me and my artistic journey? Please do follow me on Instagram. My handle is as my name.surname.art. So it's dorota.choma.art. Do give me a follow if you wish. And I hope that we will meet again for another session one day.